This episode of the Coarse Grind Podcast has been brought to you by Central Sports and Graphics Incorporated, family-owned and operated screen printing and embroidery business located in a historic storefront on Old Berwick Road in the heart of Espy. They've been doing screen printing for over 20 years. They have high-quality product at a low price. Be sure to check them out. Central Sports and Graphics Incorporated, 570-784-1212. Now, on to the show.
This is Chef Casey Thompson, and you're listening to the Coarse Grind Podcast with Shawn Rosler.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is episode number 109. What are we doing? I can't count this high. This is a job for a math major, not me. With you as always, host creator Shawn Rosler. How is everyone doing this fine, cold, brisk evening? Oh, how's the weather out there? You know, sometimes the softball is right in front of you, and sometimes that ball is traveling at a maximum speed of maybe 10 miles an hour tops, and sometimes, just sometimes, the universe aligns itself to put the perfect, local, angsty, curmudgeonly, grumpy, but funny guest right in your lap. Not literally, but, you know, who's complaining there, but figuratively, fine. If you haven't figured out by now, that's kind of happened. And along with that, a very special topical episode. And honestly, rather than string you along for the typical strung-out intro I'm all too well known for, you've heard 108 before if you've listened to every episode, let's be honest, who has? I'm going to let this veritable powerhouse open her own goddamn door and pull out her own goddamn chair to sit down in. Somehow, I think she'd only have it that way. But then again, what do I know? I only had my 100th episode right next to her talented as fuck kitchen. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, tonight's guest, the heart, soul, and brain behind the phenomenally creative kitchen in the study bar right here in dear old Bloomsburg, Nichole Ottaway. What's up, buddy?
Not a whole lot. You know, I don't think I've ever been described as curmudgeonly, at least not while I was listening.
I'm pretty sure you are, though, dude. Let's be fair. And I say it lovingly. I do mean that lovingly. Curmudgeonly is like, look at these people coming in, asking for their steak well done, get off my lawn. Like, it kind of goes in that sequence. Would you agree?
Yeah, but I mean, if they're going to pay for the food, I'll cook it how they want, but I will judge them silently from the kitchen.
Listen to Switzerland showing up out of nowhere. Switzerland. Her new nickname is Switzerland. So, again, man, I couldn't wait for this. I'm so glad to finally have you on. Thanks for making the time. Folks new to the program, folks with terrible short-term memories like yours truly. Starters, mains, and afters, although we're going to play it a little more freeform tonight based on a certain format our guest suggested, which I cannot wait to delve into. Starters, we're going to talk about where the guest in question has come from, what brought them to where they're at today. Mains, we're going to talk about what they're doing, what their 5-year plan is, and so on. And finally, afters, a little bit more irreverent, a little bit more off the cuff, but no one's been injured in 108 episodes. And so I'm certainly hoping no one goes on workers' comp after this episode today. So without further ado, let's start a little traditional here, Nichole, and let's talk about where and what you grew up eating. Where did you grow up? What did you grow up eating? Talk to me about that.
Well, interestingly enough, my mother was a chef. When I was a child, she didn't start off as one. She was a bar cook, and eventually she climbed her way up. So most of the time, I grew up mostly in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, but we moved around quite a bit. And she made fantastic food at work, but most of the time when she came home, I got grilled cheese, or mac and cheese, or something along those lines. Because when you do cook for so many people every day, you get tired. You run out of ideas at home. Right. Until I was a teenager and I started working with her in a restaurant, and she was only working part-time because she had gotten older and didn't really want to keep up with, the Friday and Saturday night rushes.
Sure.
Like, I mostly ate very rudimentary, basic foods.
Right.
And then when I was a teenager, I started to transition into better things.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit more different. But doesn't that kind of hold to, and I mean, you know, I haven't necessarily chefed or anything like that, but I've worked online, and when I came home, what I did at home was so basic. And so, like, when you do that for a 9 to 5 or a 1 to 9 or however long you do it for, is it true that you just want to come home and just cook whatever the fuck is easy and get it out, get it done, and be done with it?
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a 5-year-old daughter
Mm-hmm.
who is, like, when it comes to her taste in food, she's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
My boyfriend's tastes are also very simple, but, like, I like to try things that I don't necessarily have the time or space for at work.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I at least like to try to do, like, one experimental meal a week on my days off
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, I can try to perfect or do better or whatever, because I can't do that at work. You do your specials, you do the menu, and that's what you do.
Yeah.
So, like tonight, and I had worked on fryers in a few different restaurants, and I've done many, many wing nights, probably over 1,000. No, definitely over 1,000 wing nights in my lifetime. And it's been months since I've actually made wings. So I actually made wings and homemade mac and cheese for supper. So
nice.
And it sounds basic, and it is. But to make really good wings, it's not as basic. There's a lot of different little things about them that make them better.
Yeah. So, like, prime example. Let's take that word for a minute, because I know you and I line up on a lot of this shit, because we've had the opportunity to talk a little bit before, like, and even in the little bit we talk, you know, 5+ years of doing shows like this, I kind of get a vibe on people straight away, and I know that you and I kind of line up. So, like, when we say basic is not a negative thing. True, false?
No, it's not at all.
Talk to me about what basic is for you, because I know, and people will be sick of it, because people will be like, oh, bro, you talked about basic before, your hair is receding, and I mean, both are true. Talk to me about what basic is for Nichole.
Basic is when you take staple food items that don't require a whole lot of ingredients, or just, they're very traditional, easy dinners or whatever, and you make them. Which, like grilled cheese, that is a basic. That is a staple. Most people know how to make one, but making one well is a different story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny because, like, you know, my boyfriend doesn't have much cooking experience, but I made him a grilled cheese for the first time. He's like, "This is amazing." How?
So what did you do? All right. Hit pause there, because I want to hear, because I grew up. I didn't eat grilled cheese. I hated grilled cheese for a long, long time. My wife made it for me, and I started to appreciate it, and then I started to run with it, you know, given my background, given my predilection, given my, you know, just urge to make things better. So what was it that you did that turned that around for him?
I use mayo instead of butter on the bread.
Okay, talk to me about that, because that's that's more if I use a panini grill, but why do we use mayonnaise versus butter?
I like the crisp on it a little bit better than when I use butter, and also, like, it gives it just a slight bit of tang, because there's tang in mayo.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. I saw it a few years ago when I started doing it, and I liked it a lot better, so that's what I started using. Absolutely.
I'll tell you what's funny. I don't think it's where you are. No, of course it's not where you are on Main Street. It's where the coffee shop is. But I used to work at Town Perk, if you remember Town Perk back in the day, and we had a panini menu. I think we had 5 variations of it, and we used mayonnaise on the bread, and that's the first time. 98 it would have been, summer 98 or 99. But that's the first time I used that, and I'm like, oh, cool. Protein works in this way, and it started to become a science to me. And so downstream, to your point, I started to bring this in when my wife was like, okay, I'm going to literally, like, soak this bread in butter. Like, the bread you could have wrung out, but and then she put it on like a 1 out of 10 heat and just let it go forever. And I mean, the crust on it was heavenly. And so I'm like, wait a minute,
Right.
I think I can do something different here. And actually, for my 40th, no, not for my 40th birthday party. What did we do it for? It was for our youngest kid's birthday party, 3rd or 4th. We did a grilled cheese party because he loved grilled cheeses. But we did it with various Italian meats and that kind of thing. But all the bread got a thin little layer, and everyone came up. And even at that point, it was Gary Vatican from Seasons on Maine. He's like, how are you getting this crust on the bread? And I showed him. He's like, oh, holy shit, there you go. So, like, it's little things like that that can take a basic, to get back to that word, a basic element, a basic dish, a basic beautiful staple of cuisine, and elevate it to the next level. So your guy obviously loves your grilled cheese now. What do you do now to take it even further?
Well, first of all, I want to say that when it comes to the butter and then letting it, I do that at work.
Nice.
I use mayo at home, but I do that at work. Because, I mean, grilled cheese is really easy to, like, let sit on the flat top.
Yep.
And, like, let that nice crust get on. And honestly, like, when it comes to putting mayo on bread and stuff, it's kind of not, it adds seconds on to your time when you need it.
Sure.
You know, when you have so many other foods that you're making.
Right.
But, well, that, and I use sourdough at work, so I think that works a little bit better with the butter than it does mayo.
Absolutely.
Anyway, I mean, choice of cheese is a big one, too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I personally prefer Cooper Sharp.
Oh.
On my grilled cheese.
Preach. Yes.
So,
I'm there.
It's kind of a pain in, like, Cooper Sharp's kind of a pain in the ass to deal with when it's, like, because sometimes it crumbles.
It does.
When you're trying to, like, pour it together. But, like, it's so creamy when it's melted.
Have you used the black pepper Cooper?
No.
Oh, my God. Listen to me. Because we're here, no one else will get this. It's you and me. Go to Surplus Outlet, look for black pepper Cooper, and they have it. It is like heroin. You will never be the same. I'm gonna find you in an alley with like a saran wrap bag, like, and you'll just be like, oh, y'all got any more of that pepper? Like, it is that good.
I have such a hard on for pepper in certain things. Like,
Dude.
I don't add like a super big amount to it, but when it's like cracked pepper pork,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something like that. Oh.
Yeah. Salt and pepper shrimp on a Chinese buffet. Let's call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
So, like, I'm telling you, all it is black pepper. It's Cooper, and it looks like, you know, somebody sprinkle, like, black shreds on it. And it is one of the best things you'll ever eat. I mean, if you're hammered at 2 a.m, that and a couple crackers, you're done. Go to bed. You're fine. You wake up, you'll feel like $1 million. It's that good. I think it cures cancer. I'm not sure. So, man, all right. So we're getting way out of this lane. Here we are talking about black Cooper cheese and grilled cheese and basic stuff. But you said something really important, and you've got a 5-year-old, and folks who listen to this train wreck that I host here know that I have 3 of them, 3 train wrecks, if you want to be honest. And, you know, we always talk about picky eaters, because that's always a kid thing. And, like, your kid sounds like a solid eater. How were you growing up? Did you have, like, preferences? Did you have things you liked, didn't like, that kind of thing?
I remember going out to eat, I would always order, like, the same 2 things. If I remember, like, I had, like, the one restaurant we went to, I always got a BLT, and then, like, another restaurant we went to, I always got popcorn shrimp, and then another one I went to, I always got Alfredo. No chicken, no nothing. So, like, I think, from what I remember as a kid, I was a pretty plain eater, except for when it came to my mom's wraps. I would pretty much anything that she would put in a wrap, I would try.
Really?
And I almost always loved it. Yeah, I don't know why. Like, I think it was like a mother's love, and maybe just a little begrudging that I made her make me wrap.
I was gonna say,
outside of work.
I mean, was there an element of fear? Did she look at you, like, down the bridge of her nose and be like, eat this or I'll kill you? Like, was it there, or what happened? Who hurt you?
But my mom was 5 foot, and I outgrew her by age 11, so, like, she was looking up at me with that look.
That
Like,
doesn't mean shit, man. That doesn't mean shit. I was 6'2", my mom was 5'2", and she laid me out when I was 13. So let's be fair here.
Yeah. I mean, like the smaller some people are, the more concentrated their anger is.
Have you met my wife? Shit, was that on there?
Damn it. Actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did. Cool. So, and again, to go back to the basics, though, when we say the word basic, like BLT is one thing that comes to my mind, and yet, if you remember the early days of Food Network, David Rosengarten on a show called Taste, one of his most well-known episodes was on the humble BLT, and it was a how-to make literally the best BLT, and it still holds true to this day. I just watched it. I interviewed him 2.5 years ago now, and I watched that whole episode because I had it actually on VHS, and I quoted it almost verbatim, and he was probably creeped out. He's probably like, "Get out of my closet. Stop stalking me, you creep ass." But everything that he said then in, I think it would have been 98, 99, holds true today. Like, the basic BLT done right is like the basic grilled cheese done right, I think. I think there's certain elements that hold true that will give you that taste, that feel, that vibe, that love, that nothing else can.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Nothing else. And then I pop onto Facebook on the Study Bar here in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. You can check them out at thestudy.bar. And here you are making mac and cheese, which here again, here's something that we could call basic, if we're to be honest. I didn't eat growing up at all. My mother hates pasta. My mother wouldn't eat it. All of a sudden now, I have this new appreciation for it, and now I'm looking at yours going, give me some of that. Talk to me about what you're doing with it that no one else is.
Well, okay, here's the thing, like, especially when it comes to basics, when you're making, like, homemade foods, is that you have to, like, recreate the process at least a few times before you get a recipe that you really like. So, like, the first time I made mac and cheese, it was awful. Like, I had zero idea what I was doing. And, like, the tastes were there, but, like, I didn't know how to, like, properly heat everything, and I made entirely too much roux for it. So it came out very floury. And I like this combo that I have now. Now, typically at home, I like white cheddar, Cooper Sharp, and pepper jack as my cheese base, and then cracked pepper, because I already explained my pepper fixation with
you have a hard on for pepper.
But it, like, when it came to, like, really figuring out the amounts of the things that I liked and the texture that I wanted and everything, it was a process. You can look at a bunch of ingredients and think that you can make the thing properly, but that doesn't mean you actually are. You gotta figure it out for yourself. You gotta practice. You gotta, research and.
Yeah, I mean, people look at cooking, and this is what I love about talking to people who are like, oh, how'd you learn to cook? How did you blah, 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 blah? How do you have the time for that? How do you... And I'm like, dude, I didn't just, like, out of nowhere decide, oh, this is how I do things, and it works. Like, I made 4 bottles of hot sauce today because I practiced and I made about 12 bottles of shitty hot sauce.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you've got to be able to put that time in. Like, cooking is not... I think people trivialize cooking, and I'd love to hear your vibe on that, because I'm sure you've either been targeted by it or have at least felt that vibe. Like, how do you feel when people are like, oh, what do you do? Oh, you cook? Oh, that's cute. Like, that kind of shit.
Well, typically, it's a little bit different sometimes, because when you're, for the most part, when you're a female and you tell someone that you cook professionally, they're like, oh, cute. So, like, they imagine, like, a baker or, like, a prep person or, something along those lines, which they also need a bunch of technical skills. I don't understand why they're so trivialized. Like, baking is hard.
Yeah.
I know a lot of cooks that cannot bake.
Baking is like calculus. It's terrible.
Yes. It's a whole other plane of existence. But, like, seriously, most of the chefs and cooks I know, like, they're not good at baking. Because you have to follow, like, a formula to get it, like, properly done. And we're used to being like, oh, I don't have that kind of pan. It's fine. I'll throw it in something else. Fuck it. And it still turns out okay. With baking, you cannot do that shit. Like, but, I've never understood why people don't realize how much work goes into cooking professionally.
Dude.
Like, a lot of cooks, they're like, you don't understand. We work a lot. Like, I get it. You work 70 hours a week. You sleep at the job, you know. But,
at the same time, and I'm going to put some people in the field on blast, and I mean, I don't know, maybe this alienates me, you know, from potential guests or potential audience, but, like, stop, dude. Like, stop. You don't hear soldiers going off to war bitching about having bullets fly by their head. They know it's part of the job. Like, do a little research, because I'll tell you what, for as many high-profile guests as I've had, and you know what, if I may dust my shoulder off for a moment, I've had a few, they all are of the same ilk in saying that, like, yo, young upstart, shut the fuck up about your reality show that you think you're going to get day one when you step out of here. You're going to wash some dishes,
absolutely.
Bitch. You're going to cut some veg. Yeah. You're gonna mince some XYZ. Like, stop it. Stop expecting so much. Put the work in first. You got to do the work before you get the respect. And absolutely. I feel like that is lost as hell today.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, this industry is notoriously underpaid and overworked. But, like, when it comes to, especially, like, a lot of people in my generation, too, like, they kind of feel like they thought that they were going to become rock stars very quickly, but they're still working in kitchens managed by other people.
Yeah.
So it's hard because I am running my own kitchen now, which is all, you know, it's all my recipes, my ideas, my specials, etc. And it's kind of hard to talk to people that I know that are still in the industry at my age and they haven't gone, because I just got a lucky break.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would still be doing the same shit.
Well, you know what? My father-in-law always asks me, would you rather be lucky or good? I said, I'll take lucky any day of the week, man. I'll take lucky any day of the week.
But here's the thing with those youngsters, as you called them, that are just like,
listen to the curmudgeonly. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, but, like, they don't understand how much work it is to actually get to that point. Because you're supposed to be the fountain of knowledge for everything in that kitchen. Yeah. You're supposed to, you know, you have to know how to do inventory orders, price out food, like, literally everything, timing, techniques, flavors, and, like, a lot of those people haven't mastered those skills, so they need to step the fuck down.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, and I'll admit fully that I don't know half of what I want to know, you know? But this job has been a great step forward for me in learning more.
Yeah.
So.
Well, first of all, that's an empowering statement right there. The fact that you, as a chef, as a cook, as a female chef, as a female cook, can say that, like, without batting an eye, like, I think that's why I have such a deep, resounding respect for you. And I think that goes without saying. I think we've talked enough. You kind of know where I stand. You know, I know where you stand. And, like, I have a lot of respect. And at the same time, like, I think Justin wouldn't have tapped you on the shoulder for what you're doing were it not for who you are. So you should have a pretty big chip sitting right on that left shoulder, nice and high.
Well, it's funny because, like, I actually came to him after a couple people recommended me to him and him to me. Nice. So, like, this was kind of a mutual connection from people that we knew, being like, hey, you guys would probably work well together.
Nice.
So, and, you know, all I want to do is do that bar justice, make good food, and make the money.
And, I mean, I'm pretty sure, actually, that 100th show that we did, that was one of your highest food nights. Was that correct or no?
At the time, yeah, it was.
No. You don't have to say at the time, Nichole. Shut up. Just go with it. Just make it sound good.
We were just starting out at the time.
Shh, God damn it! Stop ruining the moment. Go with it.
But the thing is that the show had brought a lot more people in.
Yeah.
And, it was nice to see at the end of the night that, even though my workstation was a disaster, that there were so many people out there enjoying my food.
People knew.
It was awesome.
And,
it was great.
Yeah, like I said to Justin, and, I kind of quipped later that night, part of my goal, people have a hard time understanding why I do this show. And I think I do sometimes, too, if I'm to be perfectly honest. I'm like, don't you want to make some money off this? Don't you want... No. What I want to do is make people aware that, you don't have to go to the next city over to have a good meal. Focus on the talent that is in your town and embrace them. And, to be able to ramp that up that night and to be, seeing your food advertisements on, Facebook and Insta and all that shit, that makes me proud to know, maybe, just maybe, we started that cart up the hill. Right. That was a big night for food then. I sound like the desperate ex-boyfriend. Oh, tell me I wasn't the best. Come on, hon. Come on. You know it was good. At the very least, we began the push. We at least opened people's eyes to yo, there's some pretty dope food in here. And it looks like that's taken off like wildfire. So what's coming down the pipe for the study? Before we get into our topic du jour, the study bar's menu, first of all, you guys open up the downstairs, which is awesome. I love that. I love the look. I love the feel. You're serving food both upstairs and downstairs, correct?
Correct.
All right. And
we've been having the downstairs rented a lot for parties.
Oh, cool. So you can rent the downstairs for a gathering, for a corporate event, that kind of thing?
Yes, and we do have a catering menu available, and we have bartenders available. So whatever the event is, we can pretty much customize it and make it however they want it to be. So, nice. And it's a very lovely space. I like it down there quite a bit because it's I don't know, compared to a lot of bars in the area, it's very, light and clean and kind of welcoming and inviting.
What are you saying about Hess's? Stop it.
You know what? It's funny because, I like to say that, I'm sorry, but most of the bottom feeders of Bloomsburg meet at Hess's. But at the same time, it's mostly line cooks and servers.
I was going to say, who's there? I've been there. Have you been there? Yes, you have. Knock it off.
I have been there. But I like to sit in the corner with my sketchbook.
Yeah.
But, I've gotten to a point in my career now, especially because a lot of the times I'm talking to customers, too.
Right.
Because I like to see what, our regulars, want to see or what they like and stuff like that. I like to get people's opinions on food.
Sure.
So, there's a lot more people that know me than I'm used to. So the last time that I went there, it was very interesting just to watch people recognizing me and coming up to talk to me, and I'm like, oh, okay.
People watching in Hess is a beautiful thing, to be sure. What do you, and let's use this to kind of jump off. What do you see the study bar doing with food the next year or two? How do you see it evolving?
Well, I want to, eventually, I'm going to keep evolving the menu. You just have to. But we are seeing quite an interesting influx of people that are vegan and vegetarian.
Right.
So finding better ways to incorporate stuff that they can eat, too. That's still very good. That's going to please everybody. Because, we're not, I'm not trying to, stomp on what Route 11's doing.
Right.
In any way, shape, or form.
Right.
I actually went there to eat the other day. It was fantastic.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Mike's amazing. Does great work.
It was the first time that I actually got to eat there, and I was very happy with it.
Nice.
Because I've been wanting to go for a while. But, it is really interesting to me how, negatively a lot of chefs and cooks look upon people that choose not to eat meat.
Yeah.
Especially, like, when menus don't really, like, there's so many places that, like, vegans have, like, 2 things they can eat.
Yep. It's like, hey, take the meat out of this dish. That's what you get.
Yeah, and, I mean, they're paying for the same price, but they're leaving off the most expensive ingredients.
Right.
And that, to me, has always been bullshit. Especially, like, when I worked in kitchens with other people, and they'd be like, "Oh, fucking vegans," and I'm like, "Oh, you literally just have to not put meat in it. I don't understand what the problem is."
Yeah.
Or dairy if there's dairy in it. But, like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be the first to admit I've run my socket a little bit about them. But with that said, again, hearkening back to the Town Perk days, that was actually the first time. It was summer of '99. Now that I've actually done the math, it was summer of '99. It was the first time I ever encountered a vegan, and I had to have them explain to me, like, what it was, because at this time, the crowd was so low, I came out, I took orders, I took it back, and I cooked it at the same time. So I came out, and they said, "Oh, we're vegan." And I'm like, yeah, and I'm probably high at this point, so what was that? And they very patiently explained it to me. I said, oh, okay, cool. They're like, just do us a favor, just lay a layer of foil down on all your surfaces, whenever you cook, whatever you're cooking, just to make sure it doesn't touch the surface, that blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, it seems reasonable. Everybody else on staff bitched about it. And I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter. This was when I realized service was key. It was July. I don't know why I remember July. And they came in, and they ordered the eggplant fries, because they were vegan. And obviously they didn't get the sauce on the side because there was mayonnaise element to that. But I prepped those up and I made sure everything didn't touch. And there was a panini of sorts that I made. Again, nothing, animal product whatsoever. And I prepared that for him. And I'll remember that the check was like $24. $24. Because again, I'm running food out. I'm doing the check. I'm doing everything, right? And speaking of being a one-person show like you are. And, I go out, I leave the check, I'm like, thank you so much, have a great night. This was the second time I met him. And I go out to get the check, and I open up the book, and there's a $100 bill, and a handwritten note that says, thank you so much for understanding who we are and what we need.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
full stop, dude. I'm like, whoa, okay. That's what the service industry is about. So before you take a cocky look, a sidelong glance, just because someone doesn't want something that touched a fucking animal, calm your tits.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
It's not that, like, if you have a space that you can use for people that have, like, dietary needs, it's not that big of a deal. No. It's when you're not prepared for that kind of thing to come through, where it's a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But if you're prepared for it, it's not a big deal.
No. And if you're not prepared for it too, like, just be honest about it up front. Don't try to half-ass it. Just be honest with it. I think those diners would appreciate that more and somehow work with you on that rather than you trying to bullshit them. I don't know. That's just me.
I mean, yeah, for the most part. I mean, there's always people that are a little curmudgeonly.
Yeah. The
word of the cast.
Well, that's you. That's you. You're curmudgeonly. So, I mean, it's all good. So speaking of vegan, let's transition here. Speaking of vegan, I mean, people would be smarmy or douchey and try to somehow infer that vegan is trendy or viral. And yet, there are things that are viral that you and I have collectively, via Messenger, shared great grievances about, and I think this is the time where we do it. Now, typically, folks, I understand we're talking more about the person, we're doing more about the afters, we're doing more about this stuff, but tonight, Nichole came to me with a format that I just couldn't deny, and so I'm going to let her explain what we're about to do and what you're about to be in for. So without further ado, Nichole, if you would, please.
Okay. So, there is this trend of viral restaurant or food videos that most of the time are very extravagant or gigantic or in some ways just kind of outrageous when it comes to, like, the restaurant foods. And most of the time, you can, like, at least when you cook professionally, you can tell that they're not going to be good. Like, you can look and be like, wow, they're using cheap ingredients. It looks really dry, and you don't really understand, like, at least for me, I don't really understand when those things are going viral, when there's all these amazing chefs out there that are making things that have all these different techniques and stuff in them that look absolutely amazing, and you can tell they probably most likely taste amazing.
Yeah. But,
like, the viral videos of people being like, look, we stuffed 16 tacos in a giant taco.
Whoa!
Like, what is the point of that?
Nobody wants that.
Like, no, but, like, I see people share that kind of stuff all the time, and they're always like, oh, I gotta get me this. And I'm like, but why? First of all, you're not going to be able to eat all of that. Second of all, the kitchen is going to hate making it. Like,
I'm looking back at one that you sent me. All right, so in the spirit of full transparency, Nichole has been peppering me with these nonsense shit vids, and I'm looking at one right now, and oh, Jesus Christ! It's the cookout one. You sent it a while ago, and I hate you for it. Here,
okay.
I'm gonna send it back to you, so you should open up your messenger or whatever you watch this kind of shit with. And it's this mac and ham cheese.
Oh my god, yeah.
I want to punch you for this video. Like, I want to make that clear. I don't, parsley, and they spelled it Parsely. And they're smearing it on toast points. What the fuck? Oh my god. What
it's
is
so
going
bad.
on?
And, like, my whole thing, like, what made me go, what are you doing? Was they didn't fry the bacon. They just literally added raw bacon to mac and cheese. Like,
dude. Listen, if you're listening and you want to see this, leave a comment. I'll give you the link. That's on you. That's on you. I take no responsibility for you having a stroke when you watch this shit. But, like,
and then they just,
oh my god, I hit play again. Why? Alright, so I'm watching it.
And then literally throwing sliced cheese on top.
Who's putting milk in cast iron and putting dry macaroni into it? The fuck?
Please don't do that.
What are you doing, you assholes? There's no...
My whole point with these videos is, like, if they're not going to taste good, don't take these references. Please, like, before you do anything, like, look and be like, those ingredients could do well, but I can do it better technique-wise.
I literally...
Like, figure out how to make a base mac and cheese and how to fry some bacon before you ever, like, don't, like, these viral, like, here's my thing with these, like, viral cooking videos, is that, like, yes, you get a sense of satisfaction from watching them.
No, I don't. I get a sense of a stroke, you ass.
Okay, hold on. I'm talking to the viewers.
That's fine. They're listeners. Go ahead, by all means. It's your show. I forgot.
Yeah, listeners. Sorry. Excuse me. Damn.
Oh. Anyway, what are you saying? By all means, go ahead.
Okay,
yes.
Normal people, quote unquote, they get like a sense of satisfaction from watching these videos because they're watching an entire dish be created in like 30 seconds to a minute without actually doing anything. But they're not, you can't learn anything from those time-lapse videos. They don't explain how like anything is put together. They don't explain it, like, it just, I guess that like some cooking shows too that I watch. Like, they don't explain why they're cooking it like that.
No, they don't explain why they're cooking like that. And honestly, you're breaking up a little bit there, but I heard your point come through. It's like, look, it's kind of like fast forwarding to the end of the porn video. Let's be honest. Yeah, that's not the way cooking works. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, just stop. Don't be that guy. And so, I'm just talking about one video out of several that you sent me. You sick, twisted freak. What else should we look at? Let's look at... Do you want to look at the 4-pound taco? Is that it?
But yes, please. We need to talk about this one, please.
All right, hang on. Here, I'm actually going to turn my volume up so that we can get some. Is there audio? Oh no, it's shitty elevator music.
Yeah.
Why does this matter? South Orange, New Jersey. If that's where you're getting your tacos from, stop getting tacos. Like, what are you doing? Oh, it's a 12-inch taco shell, bruh. They fry it up in a custom basket.
But it's a flour.
Do they add French fries? Shut up.
They put French fries on it.
And fried chicken. Go choke yourself in a fiery building and just die. Like, what are you... You suck at life if you eat this.
Did you see the pico de gallo that they put on it yet, though?
It's tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's chopped tomatoes.
Hang
on.
And then, like,
Hey.
a hunk of jalapeno.
Hey, Nichole, back up. Michael Calderella's talking. He's the operating partner. He looks like he knows what he's got to say. Here we go. You ready? I'm going to let him talk. Brace yourself. This is going to suck. Oh.
Frying a very large flour tortilla for some years, but then once we started producing our own flour tortillas, we looked for a vehicle to showcase that product, and we thought, a fried 12-inch flour tortilla would be awesome, plus a giant taco.
A fried 12... I swear to God, I want to kick his teeth down his throat. A fried 12-inch tortilla is something of beauty. A fried 12-inch tortilla is a pizza crust, you asshole. Like...
if you watch the video, they don't look like they're handmade.
He's not making that. Got guac? I love his bro shirt. Oh, got guac? Yeah, got milk was the late 90s, douche.
Yeah, well, the flour tortilla, fucking French fries, fried chicken. Like, that is going, like, first of all, there's no way you can technically eat the fucking thing because they fried the tortilla. So, like, even the small, like, hard shells are hard to eat sometimes. But, like, you're gonna make that gigantic and add a whole, like, that shit will choke you like Popeye's biscuits.
It's the kitchen sink of tacos. My screen paused on this, and I almost punched my monitor, and I'm not sure why I didn't. It's the kitchen sink of tacos. Why? Because you flush shit down it? Because that's what you're doing.
God.
You balding, bumpy-nosed idiot. Just stop being you. God.
Oh, I know, it's so bad.
I'm so angry.
Like, but...
It's a kitchen sink of tacos! Oh! You can't eat this in one setting. Guess what, asshole? Then don't serve it in your restaurant. You shouldn't be sending... you shouldn't be sending people home with stuff they can't eat in one sitting. That's, like, rule number 1 of restaurant, but... What do I know? Oh, the Fat Amy. Oh, that's great. Isn't that cute? They call it the Fat Amy. It costs $11.95. Money well spent.
And here's my thing with that. Like, if they're doing it by, like, actual food cost calculator, that is the cheapest shit.
Of course it is.
Like,
of course it is. Look at the shirt he's wearing. Look at the face he's wearing. Like,
awful.
Enough. God, I hate him. I hate them.
But
Oh, come back to us. We're losing signal. Come back. Follow the light, Carol Ann. Come back to the light.
Can you hear me now?
There we go. That's better.
But most of the time, the worst person can humanly eat in it. And, like, who wants to do that?
This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Nobody wants to do this. Oh, hey, bro, I'm going to go out and do it. Listen, if you're going to make it a challenge, make it a challenge. Lace it with arsenic and say, if you've still got a heart rate after 30 minutes, you eat free. There's your bonus. Piss off. I'm done. I'm done with the Fat Amy. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Why did you send me this? I thought we were friends. Like, you don't have to do this to me.
But friends like to help other friends feel their pain.
Oh my God, I don't want to feel pain. Like I get up every morning, I stand up, and I'm like, ugh, that sucks. All right, should I do the bacon wrapped jalapeno hot dog? This is the one I said I might be able to get on board with.
Okay. So one
don't
of the
hate
reasons
me
I
for
said
this.
that to you, No. I'm not, because the flavor profile is fine. However, you can do it better. Like, it's a lot of work for cheese and jalapeno and bacon on a hot dog. You know what I mean? Like, you have, like, in the video, they cut it in half, and then they put little strips of cheddar in, and then they wrapped it in bacon, and they, like, by the time, like, it just seems like you could do it in a way that's more workable. You know what I mean?
All right. I'm gonna full size it. I'm gonna watch it here. Again, people watching at home, if you want to be disgusted, Jesus, loud porn music is loud.
I don't know what kind of porn you're watching, but anything after the 1970s.
What are they? Why are they
like
Frankensteining the jalapeno? Like, what?
That's what. Yeah.
Oh, this sucks. I hate you. I hate you, the people making this, not you, Nichole. I love you. Foodsties, bro. It's called Foodsties. What? Stop it. How
like,
do you?
It might be interesting to experiment with actually using a jalapeno as a shell for the hot dog. But like, I don't know if that would be good. But like, they didn't explain like what kind of hot dog even, you know, or what kind of cheddar they use. Yeah, it just. I don't know.
Oh, maybe we should ask the guy making the Fat Amy what kind of hot dog he uses. Because I'm sure it's a grade A. That asshole. Like, come on! The thing looks like it's riddled with Hep B. Like, it's not good. Like, it looks like a bad decision at 2 a.m. Like, I could turn that away at midnight walking to Hess's. Now, after Hess's, could I turn it down? Probably not. I don't know. Maybe I could.
But a lot of the food videos that I have seen or sent, like even sent my other friends, are ones that were sent to me, asking me when I was going to do that at work.
How does when hell freezes over? Like, can you fit that into one line? Does that work?
And here's one thing that people don't understand about the food industry is that, like, when it comes to those viral food videos, there is 3,000 steps that you can make a lot easier and more feasible for a kitchen, but people want that, like, weird niche viral video thing. It's like, do that at home.
Do you know how much...
I'm not...
Yeah, like, do you know how much cooler shit you could fit into this 12-inch flour tortilla handmade by no one in your restaurant? Like, you could fit so many cooler things into that. You could fit so many cooler things into a jalapeno. Like, we just had a surplus of, like, 5 pounds of jalapenos. I made some poppers, some, like, not, like, coated and fried poppers, but baked. And I made about 5 7-ounce bottles of a hot sauce. You know, just to kind of gift. There's what you should be doing. That makes sense. Do you want to stuff a hot dog into it? I don't know. Maybe try it. But, like, do some research first. This looks like someone got stoned and was like, bro, you ever think about putting a hot dog in a jalapeno? I sure did. You want to see what I did? Like, that's what it sounds like.
Here's the thing, like you could make, like, a cheese sauce with, like, chopped jalapenos in it.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines that would be way easier to work with.
That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of people I know that don't even know how to, like, properly wrap meat in bacon, and how to, like, they don't know to, like, leave it alone. Like, I've had this conversation with, like, 3 different friends that have tried this because of viral videos, and they're like, oh shit, all the bacon fell off. And I'm like, well, it's because you have to practice.
Are you still friends with them or no?
Yeah, of course I am.
Oh,
I don't
why?
professionally.
Why?
At least they ask for help.
You're too nice. You're too nice.
No, I'm not.
That's true. No, you're not. I know you.
I don't like it when people tell me that I'm nice just because, like, that I'm too nice because I show basic human decency.
Yeah,
you know,
well, that's fair. I think that's a good line too. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm gonna bring up a random one. 5 delectable finger food recipes. Are you ready?
Okay.
It's from Tasty. It's tasty.com, Nichole. Do you want to... Oh, I got to pop up here. While we're waiting on that and everyone's listening, they're like, What's that weird noise? That's called a pop-up video. This is live audio, kids. Here we go. I'm sending you the link so you can at least watch it real time. Alright, here we go. This is the closest thing to a web conference this show is ever going to see. 5 delectable finger food recipes. I'm going to read it in this voice, too. Alright, ready? 2 onions. Alright, we're peeling the onion. We're going to cut it, I don't know, about inch rounds. They got to be making onion rings at this point. That's my biggest guess. Mozzarella. What are we doing with mozzarella? I feel like that Keelan guy. Keelan reacts. Oh!
Oh.
What?
I know
what?
which video you're talking
Are you
about
watching
now.
this? Are you watching this? What is this nonsense? Don't you dare. What is this shit? What did I just watch? What did I just watch? I'm going to hit pause. I swear to God, folks listening, I will post a link to this video. Just be sure to ask for it, because I swear I might have to have my therapist erase it from my memory. What just happened there? That was what happened? What?
Honestly, my video froze in the middle, so I didn't get to see the end of it. I'm pretty sure. Is it the one where they put the mozzarella in the middle of the onion ring?
Yeah.
Is it that one?
Yeah, it is.
And then they fried it?
Yeah, it is.
I don't see why that would work texturally.
There's no way that works!
There's no way that works texturally, and also, like, onions fry faster than cheese melts. Like,
right?
Typically, like, if you're making onion rings or whatever, so if
right?
it's on the outside, like, that onion's gonna get really gross by the time, like, the cheese reaches the internal temperature that it's supposed to.
Or are they banking on the after heat, like, carrying it through, maybe? I don't know. Alright, so I'm at 45 seconds on the video. I'm gonna hit play. I'm gonna see what nightmare we have next. 7 minutes. All I see is a pot of boiling water, what I assume to be pasta, and the word 7 minutes above it. So here goes. Strain. Yeah, this video is a fucking strain. Flour and butter, milk. Alright. Yeah, so this is going to be a mac and cheese of some kind, but what is it? Oh, sharp cheddar. Wow. Careful. Slow down here. So this is just mac and cheese? Why are we putting it on paper? Why? Why are we freezing it? Oh, we're going bites, aren't we? Don't.
Yes.
Fuck off. Oh, come on! Fried mac and cheese sticks! I swear to God, I hope the maker of this video is, like, laying somewhere, obviously with coronary heart disease. Whoa. Well, what I missed? It was chicken, onion. What am I watching? What? Peas? What the fuck is this? Is it Thanksgiving? Don't! Salt, pepper, milk. This looks like vomit. That's what it looks like. Whoa. That looks like I vomited. Chill for an hour. I'd like to chill. What are we doing? No! Why is everything getting fried? Why is everything that is a finger food recipe fried chicken pot pie? Please.
I don't know why. I think they just ran out of ideas.
I need a break. I need a break.
Okay, well, and here's the thing. I have mac and cheese bites at the study.
That's different, though. I'm sure.
Okay, yeah. They're good.
Oh my God, dude! I need a break, and I'm questioning my relationship to you right now, Nichole. This is bad.
Okay,
We're only halfway through this video, and like all I want to do is make it through one that you haven't seen yet, and all of a sudden I'm like destroyed internally. Like I don't feel good about me right now. I don't. This isn't good.
Well, and here's the thing. Like I think
Look at you making the excuse for it. Stop. You're so terrible.
No. They slap things together because they've had such success with their other videos.
Well, because
so,
it's from Tasty. It's Tasty. They have 16.3 million subscribers. This is the thing. This is what I found out. My youngest kid, has autism. And so he watches some very fringe kind of videos, and a lot of them are like more social stories than anything. There's this Norwegian family that tells the most baseline stories like you've ever heard. Would you take your sister to the park? Like, it sounds like that, right? They've got 10 million subscribers. And so my middle kid, in all his social intelligence, goes to me, Daddy, does your podcast even have like 1% of that? And I had this moment where I was offended for about a split second. I'm like, do you want to eat at any point in time? Because I control that right now. And it's where I realized, I'm like, you know what? Subscriber number doesn't necessarily drive credibility. Hence why Tasty, and I mean, listen, you know, I don't know, maybe people reach out, see Tasty, fine. Tasty, if you're listening, why would you be? Great. I mean, good for you, but please, God, for the love of God, filter some content. Because this is 5 delectable finger food recipes is dog shit. So, without further ado, at 2:17, I have the words biscuit dough at the top, a cupboard, and what looks like a big doughy turd. So, here goes. Why are we doing this? The music sounds like a bad Beetlejuice cover. So, piece of pepperoni, piece of mozzarella, and... Dude... It's pizza bites, you douchebag. Like, what? No one cares. Like, stop. Oh, I'm being creative, bro. I'm gonna brush some herb butter. I use parchment paper. Baked 375 degrees. Like, okay, cool. But we've all made stuff like that. It's called a calzone. You're just... Pizza bombs. Ooh, they call it bombs. That's edgy. Said no one. How much ketchup are you putting into this? What is that now? What? 3:05? 3 minutes? What are we blending? It looks like what my kid drained out of the deer. Like, stop. Oh, dip and glaze. Glad we separated those out. Oh, man. Skinless, boneless tenders. Butterflied. God, they look flavorful, said no one. And we're gonna hammer them out? Why? Because I'm looking for parchment chicken? Like, is that what you're going... What the hell are you making?
One of my favorite things that one of my friends said to me that I sent them a video like this was like, I wish I could put a seasoning filter so it looks like the chicken is seasoned.
Okay, just put a mozzarella stick in the middle of the chicken shit. What the fuck? I hate my life. I hate the music is almost intimidating me right now. They're terrible. They're terrible. I hope you get salmonella if you eat this. And I had nothing to do with it. I can say that. I can say I hope you get it. Because if you eat this, you have no soul. None. Oh, jeez. Oh, good. There's 5 delectable and mouth-watering calzone recipes. Oh. Okay.
Just
I'm out.
Put the tasty down, please.
I can't. I can't right now.
Well, and here's my, especially with like the pizza bites, it's like that is a very rudimentary thing, but at the same time, a lot of people haven't made that kind of stuff. Like, how many people do you know actually have dinner parties anymore or potlucks?
We do.
I mean, yeah, okay, you do, but like, I mean, when it comes to like your social circle, there's not a lot of people who do that kind of stuff anymore. At least to my knowledge, like there's nobody in my age range that I've known that have hosted a party that had anything other than booze and chips.
I want to be more.
Forever.
I want to be angry. Like, can I be angry? Is that okay? Like,
it's okay for you to be angry,
Thank
but
you.
like a lot of people don't know how to do this. So like they
sound like my therapist.
If they do these kinds of things, or if they're going to go to something, they don't really know how to do that kind of stuff anymore. So like these things that are very basic, they're new to a lot of people. You understand what I mean by that?
I do, and like,
okay.
and here's the thing, by the way, just for folks who do go to these dinner parties, listen, don't ever show up with something and say, well, everybody loves my. As soon as you say that, we know you're full of shit. So like, nobody loves it. That's fine. You know, bring it. Shut up about it, and if we like it, we'll tell you. Don't ever show up and be like, oh, everybody always asks for my buffalo chicken dip. Nobody asked for it. Nobody asked for it, past tense.
No, if you have a bomb-ass recipe, we will know because everybody will fucking say something
Exactly.
about it before
Exactly.
you
We'll know at that
even
point.
get there. They'll be like, I hope that bitch brings her buffalo chicken dip or I'm gonna stab her. And we know. And then we're like, oh, it's legit. But if like someone brings something to a party and they're like, I made Rice Krispie treats. I'm like, wow, this is the first time you've ever made them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. And you made them with rice checks, you douche.
I mean, Rice Krispie treats are classic. I get it.
Yeah.
I've only had a couple homemade ones that were really good. So, like I said before, you have to actually try it.
You gotta play with it, man.
Work it and experiment and figure out, how exactly it's gonna work for you.
Yeah.
With a lot of the food at my work, I like to do basic things, but make them good.
Yeah.
I like to do a lot of classics that you're not going to make at home the same way.
Yeah.
No,
totally understood. Totally understood. So, in the interest of not being total curmudgeons, which we are, because we're bitching about everything left, right, and sideways, and in the interest of helping listeners, why don't you and I give one basic advanced tip? Take a basic thing that we presume to be basic and elevate it for the listeners at home. I'm going to turf that over to you first, because I have a feeling you're way more well-versed in it than I.
I'm trying to exactly think what you mean. Do you mean take it a basic recipe and explain why it works that way?
Okay, here's my
when it comes a tip on making sauces or.
Here's my variation on a theme, and take my lead here. So, the Rice Krispie treat example. This is one I always think of because I have made these for every birthday or snack celebration that the kids have had since day one. And I think nothing of it, but people who don't brown butter are blown away by it. And here's the thing. Look, brown your butter. That's all you have to do to make the basic Rice Krispie treat an elevated thing of borderline umami elegance. When you brown butter, what you do is you take the solid particles of the butter, which if you take those solid particles out, you get ghee. That's where ghee comes from, whatever. So it's the solid milk fats. And what you do is you essentially not burn them per se. If you burn them, it's too far. But you get real close when you keep that heat high, put a stick of butter in the pan, and just let it go down until it starts to froth and it starts to brown. And it changes your flavor profile entirely. Then when you add that in with the marshmallow base, the Rice Krispies, it turns into this slightly savory, salty, sweet dessert. So for me, just a basic tip that takes really not that much more time. Brown your butter when you're making Rice Krispie treats, please.
It's hard to think sometimes, because you're so used to doing things in your everyday life, especially for me because I'm cooking every day of my life.
Right.
Sometimes it's hard to think when you go back to basics, what would be something that someone would need to know. So I don't know. I'm stuck. I'm trying.
Go mac and cheese. Go mac and cheese, because we went grilled cheese before. Mac and cheese, I think, is a universal thing that people can always use a tip or two on. What makes yours elevated? What makes yours pro level?
Seasoning with the cheese.
How so?
Honestly.
Go with it.
Well, you get the combination of cheese that you like. You have to before you put the cheese in, you have to let the milk and the roux mixture get to a temperature where the cheese melts, or it doesn't melt properly. I've had so many mac and cheese where it kind of feels sandy. Yep.
And why is that? Talk to us about two things here from your brilliance. Talk to us about a proper roux, and talk to us about that sandiness, because we've all been there.
No, I honestly know a lot of people have never made a roux. Mm-hmm. They're probably not listening to this.
Nah,
Like,
probably not. Fair.
But, like, I don't know. If you've never made homemade mac and cheese, just look up a couple different recipes and actually read the technique instructions for it.
Yeah.
You know, you have to, like, as soon as you learn to make a very basic white sauce, you can do all kinds of different things that you didn't think that you were able to do.
So the base level element here, people, for those listening at home, is this. What do you want? You want a creamy, consistent approach. When that hits your mouth, you want it to be pasta and cheese, and you want the two to be very velvety, wrapped into one another. Here's how you don't do it. You drop shredded cheese in the fucking bowl and cross your fingers. Then you're going to get this stringy, cheesy nonsense. What you have to do is incorporate that cheese into a sauce, and the two things are separate. So you're talking about a liquid and a solid. You've got to bind them together somehow. And so that roux that Nichole's talking about here is taking flour and butter and cooking them together, basically, to create this almost pseudo-thickening agent, and then adding either heavy cream or milk, whichever route you want to go. And
let me add, you make the roux on low heat.
Low heat. Why do you make it on low heat? Go with it, chef.
Because the butter will brown too quickly.
It will brown too quickly.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like if you do, like, I don't know, like when I make my roux, I do it at the bottom of the pot that I'm going to be making the sauce in. Like, I don't do it separately.
Beautiful.
So, like, if you brown it too quickly, or like it doesn't, fully, you can get a burnt aftertaste.
Yep.
In your actual cheese sauce.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah.
But I'm not as good with explaining, like, technical things with cooking.
No.
I do my best, but,
You're underselling.
Also, like, and honestly, when it comes to, like, cooking, especially with, like, basic things, I'm gonna say Alton Brown is the best person for that.
How cool is it? How cool is it that he reincarnated his series? I love Good Eats.
I creamed myself just a little bit.
Right?
I'm not gonna lie.
So did I.
His show taught me so many things, and it wasn't like like cool recipes. It was more so the fact of, like, if you boil it, this is how it's going to act, as opposed to just soaking it.
And that's
like,
the practice element. That's the scientific element you need to practice meaningfully. Like, it's not enough to just say, hey, I went out on the golf course and I practiced golf. Well, who did you learn from? Oh, nobody. I just went and swung a stick at a ball. You've got to have some foundational elements. If you're going to get it from anybody, Alton Brown's the one to get it from. No question, hands down.
I completely agree.
None.
Like, when I was growing up, my mom didn't like anybody in her kitchen at home.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I actually didn't learn to cook from her. I learned from working in restaurants as a teenager, and then in college, and then, I stayed.
Yeah, and you didn't leave.
No, but, like, when like, a lot of the stuff that I learned was from Alton Brown.
Yep.
Because, like, I didn't know, like, I knew how flavor profiles went together for the most part, but I wasn't sure, like, what the technical things about cooking were.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if I was going to stay in the industry, so I wasn't going to pay for culinary school.
Nah, that's fair. That's fair.
Fun fact, I have my degree in business.
I'll tell you what, that's an underrated degree in this industry.
Yeah, it is.
No question.
It is, especially if you want to move up,
Yep.
if you want to do management or anything, because a lot of people, they can cook their asses off, but they don't know how to do paperwork to save their lives.
Exactly.
So, I wish that, like, these videos and, like, cooking shows did a lot more to explain why the techniques are the way they are, and why the flavors work the way they do, and why they do the same,
Yep.
Like, that's something that gets to me. Like, I wish more videos went viral that explained more the process.
More meaningful. Yeah. That's no question. So I think you and I can agree that the viral food videos, for the most part, can go catch a bus on the front of their chin. And, Alton Brown is clearly king of content.
Yes.
As our time together comes to a close, I'm actually going to reroute this back full swing and ask you the final question that I ask everybody, because I think it's very fitting given the discussion we had, albeit outside of our typical rails, about food, why it means so much, why preparing it means so much as it does to so many people. What is food to you in one word, Nichole? The sigh. The insightful sigh. I love it.
Food is...
What is it to you in one word?
I'm gonna have to use my canvas, my paints. It's creation.
I love it. A canvas. Canvas.
Mm-hmm.
That is all right. As I typically do announce, anytime there's a unique answer, in 109 episodes, that's the first time that's ever been uttered. Canvas. God damn. I love it. Fantastically unique answer, and expected that it would be as unique as that, especially given what a unique perspective you have on the industry in, this small area as we have, and yet you continue to try to push the boundaries inch by inch, foot by foot, in our town, and I couldn't thank you more for it. So, Nichole, thank you so much for being on this evening. What an absolute pleasure. Like, I feel guilty because it's like, I knew who you were before we talked. I knew this was going to be a good time. I didn't know how true to form your persona would be, and yet you are as advertised, if not more. And listen, folks, if you're in the area, you're looking for a good bite to eat, swing by the Study Bar on Main Street in Bloom. Check out Nichole's wares. She is legit, as advertised. We'll take care of you. We'll fill you. You're going to need a nap afterwards, so head downstairs. Even if they're having an event, you can crash on the couch.
That is not true. That is not true.
No.
Don't do that.
Nichole said that you could fall asleep on the couches and you wouldn't get kicked out because Justin said, you're breaking up. I can't hear you. No, you can't fall asleep downstairs, but what you can do is go there, eat your ass off, drink your ass off, party your ass off, because the Study Bar in Bloom is just a good time front to back, as is everyone who works there, including Nichole Ottaway. Thank you so much again, dear.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode number 109 of the Coarse Grind Podcast. With me this evening, the indomitable Nichole Ottaway of the Study Bar. Be sure to check them out at thestudy.bar. Check them out on Facebook, Instagram. Check them out on Main Street in Bloomsburg, 17815. Our producer, as always, this evening has been Johnny Leland Robinson, a.k.a. the Reverend Johnny Lamoria. Be sure to check out all his steampunk, libertarian, and fringe happenings in the 18431 zip code. And next episode is going to be 110. We're going to keep it local. Stay tuned.
Retour aux sources pour se régénérer. Retour aux sources, avance vers le passé. Retour aux sources, batterie rechargée. Retour aux sources, enfin tout recommencer.
Hey, do you like coffee? Do you like gourmet coffee? Do you like really amazing gourmet coffee that's a total steal and just happens to be based on a culinary podcast? Well, look no further. The Coarse Grind Podcast has teamed up with the Mr. G Coffee Company to create the perfect custom blend. Dark as the logo itself with hints of caramel, sea salt, and dark chocolate, it is luxury in a cup at an incredible price. Be sure to check out their site today, MrGCoffee.com, and order some now.